Yo, it is cold outside, and if it's one thing y'all are gonna learn about seafood, I hate the cold. But before we get into that, make sure you guys are dropping a like on the video. Let's run the algorithm up. Let's get this channel going. Make sure you guys subscribe. We're this close to 500 subs, so if you would, please make sure you guys subscribe. Hit the notification bell because we will be dropping videos on here during the week. This chapter is titled, Thank You, Bonnie. Let's get straight into it.
Hey, listen!
So this chapter picks up on the winter island of Egghead Island, and I'm not gonna lie, it feels a lot like Egghead Island outside right now. Anyway, Borsalino is actually talking to Vegapunk, and he's actually scolding Vegapunk. He's telling him that Vegapunk basically made a mistake by getting so excited with Kuma last chapter and making a backdoor deal to make him the face of the Pacifista program. He might be okay with that, but the WG ain't okay with it. And Borsalino's already an admiral at this point, so I'm sure they don't really want that smoke. At least not right now. Anyway, Saturn actually has chimed in via Den Mushy, and he's talking to Vegapunk here saying, yeah, that's pretty much out of the question, but if you really want to, we have some stipulations that we can kind of make this deal work. And the first stipulation would be to make Kuma a warlord of the sea. Kuma is strong, so definitely having him on the side of the Navy and the Marines is just a good idea. And Borsalino seconds this idea, right? They know that having Kuma as an ally is better than having him as an enemy. The second stipulation is that he would have to undergo modifications. We've seen Kuma, now he's a cyborg. These are the modifications that he's talking about. He wants to make Kuma the absolute pinnacle of fear for the pirate world, right? When pirates get afraid, they want to think of Kuma. And the third stipulation is that he has to give up his free will and sense of individuality. Saturn explains this by saying, listen, we have to make sure, we have to take precautions that you'll never be able to turn your power for evil again, at least evil according to them. But they know that Kuma worked for the Revolutionary Army, and they also know what Kuma did in Sorbet Kingdom to the former king. So therefore, this is their way of making sure that never happens again. Vegapunk is enraged here. He is not having it, and he's speaking back to Saturn. He's saying, dude, that's the exact same thing as murdering him. If you take a person's humanity away, then you no longer have a cyborg, but you have just a robot. He even mentions that Saturn wants this because the other warlords never listen to what they say. So therefore, this is their way of fixing that. And you know what? I totally agree with Vegapunk here. This is absolutely asinine and ridiculous, but this tracks with exactly the way Saturn has been moving this whole time. And you know what? Kuma agrees. He tells Vegapunk, listen, man, calm down. I happily accept my fate with tears in my eyes. If it's to save Bonnie from her fate, then I will definitely become a robot. Kuma for the win again. Even Borsalino is tipping his hat to this man because all you could do is respect him. But anyways, Kuma agrees to the deal in order to save Bonnie. From here, they discuss the details of the deal, and Vegapunk explains that dealing with the sapphire scales with Bonnie will take at least 6 months, but even after that, it'll take a year before she can even go outside. On top of that, Kuma, his modifications will take 2 years at minimum. And this is why people like Bonnie, Stussy, Sentomaru, and even Kizaru seem to know each other so well. They spent the better part of 2 years living together and doing life together on what will now become Egghead Island. So this is Oda painting a picture of this Vegapunk family for us. Now, Saturn goes on here and he's saying, listen, we need insurance. We need insurance that you'll be obedient after Bonnie is cured, because Bonnie's cure is only going to take roughly a year and a half. Yours is going to take about 2 to modify. So therefore, we need assurances that after Bonnie is cured, you'll remain obedient. So for that, he proposes that after Bonnie is cured, she'll remain in world government custody and you'll have a no contact contract with her, basically saying you cannot see her, you cannot talk to her, and she'll remain under government surveillance. Vegapunk is absolutely losing his mind because the whole point of Kuma even doing this is to be able to spend time with his daughter out in the sunlight without risking her life. But Saturn, being the evil man that he is, he made it so that, of course, they can't even have that. Kuma agrees. Kuma swears to not see Bonnie ever again because it's all about curing Bonnie by the time she's 10 years old. He just asked them one thing, and that's to return her to Sorbet Kingdom, to the church where she grew up. Don't tell her the truth of what happened, but after her surgery, he doesn't want her waking up in some cold science lab run by the world government. He'd rather her be waking up in the warmth of her own home. Next, we see both of them go through various treatments over the course of the next 6 months. We see Kuma going through his first round of cyborg modifications, and we see Bonnie going through surgery. We see her and Sentomaru playing together, her and Kuma sleeping together, and even pizza showing up. They're all eating together. We even see them doing the sun god Nika dance together. I mean, Oda is really driving the point home that all 5 of these individuals, including Kizaru, are a happy family. And to be honest, now in present day, we see this family being torn apart. Saturn is cruel, and I can't wait for Kizaru to flip on his ass. But I continue. Kuma brings Bonnie back to Sorbet Kingdom after her procedures go well, and Bonnie's so happy. She's telling them that in a year she'll be able to go outside, and all the townspeople, including Queen Connie, are super excited and happy. At this point, Kuma explains to Bonnie that unfortunately he has to go away for a year because he's still a pirate and it wouldn't be safe for him to stay with her on Sorbet Kingdom. And Bonnie, even though she's sad, Kuma explains to her that when he gets back, she'll be able to travel around the world with him. They'll be able to set sail and see all the places that they want. Of course, we know this is not true. And in a matter of fact, in a year, Kuma will be a complete cyborg. However, he tells this to Bonnie so that she doesn't get sad, so that she doesn't worry. And as they're doing this, a nurse and a team of doctors come storming in. They don't know who this lady is, but she introduces herself as Alpha. Of course, we see that she's a Cypher Pole 8 agent, so I assume all these guys are Cypher Pole agents. They're just in costume. Anyways, she introduces herself as a nurse that the doctor basically ordered to take care of Bonnie. She's gonna take her temperature. She's gonna make sure Bonnie gets her medicine and oversee Bonnie's recovery for the next year. Now, everybody's getting a little aggravated here after seeing these people barge in, and of course, they even start making stipulations like, oh, well, Bonnie can't have any visitors for the next year, and they're even building buildings in front of the church where Bonnie grew up, and it's basically taking up all this space. She makes a subtle threat to Kuma here by crushing a rock and says, listen, a child's life is such a fragile thing. And Kuma gets it right here. He knows that these chicks ain't really nothing to play with, and he completely understands that he's not coming back to see Bonnie. Kuma and Bonnie say their goodbyes for the last time, and Kuma is on his way. From here, the narrator steps in and he says that the infamous tyrant Bartholomew Kuma suddenly became an absolute obedient member of the 7 warlords. And from here, the entire world reacts. We see Doflamingo reacting to the news. We see Crocodile reacting to the news. This is during the time when he was in Alabasta with Nico Robin. And we see Mihawk reading the newspaper. He looked like he just got done collecting a bounty himself. We see even Alvida with a young Kobe reacting to the news. From here, we cut to the Whitebeard crew. We see Ace reacting to the news with Jinbei. Of course, we know that the whole reason that Kuma is even joining the warlords is because because Ace defeated Jinbei. So Jinbei's no longer a warlord. Even Blackbeard is here reacting because he's still on the crew. Jinbei makes a comment here and he's saying this is already on top of the reigning king that we already have in the ranks of the 7 warlords. I assuming he's talking about Doflamingo here because Doflamingo is the king of Dressrosa right now. However, you know, it caught me by surprise at first, but I shouldn't really be surprised. Kuma's a king, Dofi's a king, but Hancock is a queen. Like, I guess it makes a lot of sense to have a bunch of kings and queens if you really want to strike fear into the eyes of normal people, especially pirates. We see Hancock's reaction, we see Moria's reaction, and of course, we see the revolutionaries' reaction. We see Sabo, Koala, Dragon, they're all distraught. Yo, I've seen these revolutionaries like distraught like 100 times now. It's kind of wild that they always get caught off guard. And we see Kuma sailing the seas with his Jolly Roger. After he just got done making something blow up, he's got the happiest Jolly Roger as he sails away. And he writes a letter to Bonnie saying that he's doing well and that he hopes that she's doing okay. He's looking up destinations for when she turns 10 and that it's still gonna be a while before he can sail at peace again, obviously because he's such a well-known pirate at this point that it's kind of hard for him to even sail. Coming up to the last panel here, we see Kuma is setting sail toward Fuchsia Village, and in fact, the world government is trying to get in contact with him, and he responds and he says, "I'm in the East Blue. What are my orders?" We get a small little panel of Luffy here running around with a tiger. And I mean, this is a surprise. So Kuma went to Fuchsia Village prior to Luffy setting sail. So this is super interesting. I didn't expect this. Honestly, I expected this flashback to end this chapter, but I guess not. And not only that, we're not even on break next week. Next week, there's going to be a front cover color spread in the next issue. So, guys, this is super duper news. Excited about it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Yo, Kuma is in Fuchsia Village prior to Luffy leaving. Definitely out of left field, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Of course, drop a like on the video, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. This has been your boy Seafood, that guy, coming to you live, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.